Hey guys, it's USAFA. Welcome back to another episode of Voices of the Community. Tonight, we're going to tackle one of the biggest questions in Marvel Contest of Champions. Is MCOC fun because we spend, or do we spend because it's fun? To explore that, I brought in someone who sits on the complete opposite end of the spending spectrum from me. He's sharp, honest, unfiltered, and one of the strongest free-to-play voices in the community. Tonight's guest is MattyMCOC. I'm a whale, he is not. But together we're breaking down how both sides experience the game. The fun, the frustration, the value, and what Kabam keeps getting right and wrong. This isn't a fight, it's a real conversation about what keeps this game alive. So let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Matty. Hey guys, it's USAFA. Welcome back to the episode of Voices of the Community. I'm really excited tonight because tonight we're going to be diving into a conversation that cuts straight into the heart of Marvel Contest of Champions. The question that has been brewing for months, maybe years, and it affects every single one of us, no matter how hard you play. And the question is, are we having fun because we spend, or do we spend because the game is fun? And to really explore this, I brought in the perfect person to challenge me, someone who stands in the complete opposite end of the spending spectrum. This is someone who's going to be honest, respectful, and maybe the conversation may be a little uncomfortable, but it's the exact kind of conversation the community needs, whether or not the game is fun because we spend, or do we spend because it's fun. So, Matty, I'm going to hand it over to you. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's hear what your opinion is with regards to that single question.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I've seen a lot of these voices of the community. Very excited.
Yep.
I'm excited because we're just two guys who are diametrically opposed to each other on this topic, but fundamentally both have insights that could benefit the game. And let's talk about this and see where it goes. And let's get right into it. Like, is MCOC fun because we spend, or do we spend because it's fun? And me answering that question, obviously writing my essay here that I'm gonna take notes from, it was very clear that it's fun, and then we spend. It's fun and then we spend, and we play a game which is quote unquote free to play, as in you download it, you get the game, you play the game.
Yep.
And games like those, where there isn't an upfront cost, you don't pay for the game, need to work because they're good games. Need to work because they're good games, and you enjoy playing them for the sake of playing them, and spending's a bonus. Spending's a bonus. The spending experience needs to enhance the playing experience, but fundamentally, that doesn't work if the underlying game doesn't work. So that's my initial position heading into this. But yeah, let's see what would you make of that?
So, I mean, I respect that absolutely. Myself included, spending doesn't replace the fun. In my opinion, spending enhances the fun that I'm already having playing the game. The game needs to have the basic dynamics. It needs to be. It needs to have the right modalities. It needs to have the right champion kits. Combat mastery. All of that stuff that the game provides, Kabam provides, makes it fun. But what spending does for me, it enhances the ability for me to have fun and pleasure playing this game. Now, we can talk about how spending is the way that you can save time in order to progress as fast as possible. But as a spender myself, I do find that fun. I find it fun progressing as fast as I can. I find it fun getting as many champions as I can, growing my roster, progressing as much as I can, helping the alliance with regards to those competitive modes. That's what brings me enjoyment in spending. And if I weren't doing that, if I were full free to play, then I wouldn't be able to be around the friends that I'm around, be in a competitive alliance, and feed that dopamine hit that I get whenever we win a war or something like that. So I spend because it enhances the fun that I get from the game.
I fundamentally, I don't actually have many notes on the It just seems like a very reasonable position.
Yeah.
And that to me sounds like the majority of the spending that we see in Marvel Contest of Champions, given that you do a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think that your experience is, you share a lot of the same experiences of a lot of the spending community. You're not a low spender, so you encompass them and the mid spenders and the high spenders. And it seems that in a general sort of sense, if you spend and you have that positive outlook on the game, then it certainly is doing its job
Yeah.
in enhancing the player experience. But it's not like over the past, like I've been doing YouTube since the end of January, and obviously doing that has forced me to look a little bit more closely at things like obviously champion design and the
Yeah.
competitive meta, but also spending in events because that's potentially content. So now I have to look at it instead of just default ignoring it.
Right.
And I see that more more commonly this year. I see that spending has almost become not a requirement, but there are certain
Yeah.
things that become inherently less fun when you don't spend.
Right.
Uh, and there have been a few mistakes over the course of 2025, which I'm certainly hoping that we can provide some ideas that might set that straight for 26, which
Yeah.
seems like a big year for MCOC. That seems like a big year.
So Matty, let's not beat around the bush. I mean, for the listeners of
Mm.
this video, I'm pretty sure that they know what we're talking about, what you're talking about with those couple examples. Let's just put it out there. We're talking about Dark Phoenix, right?
We're talking about Dark Phoenix. We're talking about Human Torch. We're
Yeah.
talking about the Idols. We're talking about, I mean, probably my most hated, although technically there is a free-to-play way of getting her, which is Captain Britain.
Mm.
She was in one of those idol, not Founders War crystals the
Yeah.
other day. I saw her in the room. I'm like, hell, I could have got Captain Britain out of that. What a world that would have been. But yeah, she's my least favorite, despite her being probably the easiest to get. But
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That is what we're talking about.
Yeah. So I agree with you that the release of certain champions, certain content has been paywalled, and that has definitely been a detractor with regards to the entire community having enjoyment playing this game. Because it's not necessarily having the champion; it's having the right counters or going up against the competitive mode against those champions that the whales or the spenders were able to obtain, whereas everybody else was not. So absolutely. I believe that, I agree that Kabam has made those certain missteps with regards to releasing of those champions and not making them available to everybody. Now, do I think that these champions for free to play should be made available? Absolutely, 100% yes. After a certain amount of time, spending, I believe, does allow people to gain that sort of advantage of progression and a champion acquisition, and they should be the ones who, if you spend on the game, spenders should be able to get access to that content earlier, the champions earlier. But Kabam needs to have a roadmap where it states that eventually over time that it will then again be a level playing field.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point because obviously I'm the free-to-play player in this
Yep.
in this conversation, and I think for those who know my content, I think quite a funny comment I got described me as the second most anti-Kabam channel on the internet. I have no idea who's beating me, but apparently someone is, so I'll get after them soon. But I find you said that you're mentioning this roadmap,
Yep.
and that's certainly an idea that I've had. I think that a lot of people have had, but it's always been one that I think if, like, imagine you're in your shoes, you're USAFA back at the heart of fire,
Yep.
and you see Dark Phoenix, and you know it's $1,000, you know it's $1,000,
Yep.
and then they say, but we're giving it to free to play players by January,
Yep.
and obviously I don't know exactly how you would react to that, but if I was someone who had the will and ability to spend that much on a single character, and I was told, okay, but you get it for free in
Yep.
6 months. I see that and I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. It's not going to work because people are just going to look at it and say, all right, but we know the whole appeal of Dark Phoenix is you get her and no one else can.
Right.
And Kabam kind of need to safeguard, ironically, safeguard that information, because if they don't, then it's where's the mystery, where's the value,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and
But,
them publishing a roadmap, I don't see them ever doing that. I don't see them ever saying that in a certain amount of time, in 6 months, this champion will be available in the Titan Crystal or available for acquisition, not in front of that paywall that they had established. I don't see them doing that, but we know for the past history, for the past 10 or 11 years, that's pretty much been their modus operandi for champion release. I fully expect to see that Dark Phoenix is going to be made available for people to obtain in the near future. I mean, it's been what, 5 months since she was initially released. I mean, I could see in the near future they release some sort of update or place her in the basic pool. So I think it's coming. I think that
Yeah.
I think that Kabam doesn't like publishing them the roadmaps because it kind of ties their hands with regards to the game. But I just history dictates that they're going to do it in the future.
Yeah, but they will. She will come eventually.
Yeah.
She will come eventually, and they actually, I think they have given us a roadmap for the idols.
Yeah.
But again, the idols and Dark Phoenix are two very different things. We're comparing apples and pears here.
Yeah.
One of them made them so much money,
Yep.
so much money, and cost 4 digits,
Yep.
which is mad.
Insane. Which
the
is
other
insane. Yeah.
cost, like I don't even know how much if you. How much would you? How much is spend to get like Lumatrix and Solvark and was it 20 quid, 25?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
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 And those sales have all but basically fell flat on their face.
Yep.
So they've given them a roadmap to say, all right, well, look, we're just going to put these in the basic because.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, my smugness when this was announced, but they've gone back to the structure of the Deathless event for the Forged champions, which made me smile.
Yeah, I'm sure
you're very different.
You're a fan of the Deathless Champ acquisition, right? I mean, it was,
mad fan. It's what made me start this channel. Was like I'm having such a good time, and my second ever. I did the intro video, and my second ever video was on Deathless Thanos, despite basically every single possible bit of content under the sun already having been made.
Yeah.
Because he is so game breaking, but I put it out anyway, and I said, all right. Now's my time. I'm going for it. Massive fan of that, and I'm going to be a massive fan of Stellar Forge as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, over the next year, we're going to get some fantastic new champions for free, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, it's funny that we're having this conversation, Matty, today, because we know what happened yesterday, right? That
Friday. That they got banned.
No. 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 I'm not that anti-Kabam. But no, I'm talking about the $50 deal that came out yesterday. So I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear your opinion on that, and then I'm going to tell you my opinion on it.
Let's do it. There are two ways that I look at this, and people who are new to my thinking and my acting will be surprised, and people who aren't won't be. The first way is me being sensible, and I can be sensible sometimes. I look at this and say, okay, the insane rewards you get down the line with Tier 5 Alpha, let's just put those to one side for now, and let's look at what you get immediately. This valued at 50 quid. Everything you get here is going to be years down the line. Let's just see what 50 quid gets you if you ignore this bundle, and then see what this bundle gets you.
Yeah.
And I think the impression I'm getting, I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it in all that much detail, but the impression I'm getting is the value for 50 quid now is not atrocious. Would I be incorrect in saying that? I think it's not awful for 50 quid now.
So for $50 now, and I apologize because I'm an American and I'm totally like America-centric, so I use dollars, whatever. But anyway, for 50,
it's nearly the same,
right?
Basically.
So it's a misnomer. The value of the $50 package is kind of a misnomer. It's actually a lot more than $50, but all that stuff is hidden and it's all sunk cost behind the development of your roster. But the $50 now for me, for my roster at this current period, with nothing else given to me in the future, just for how my current roster is developed, I was able to get like 5 T7B. I was able to get 15 basic 7-star crystals, which I won't open because we don't open crystals anymore. And the rank up gems for $50 was insane, absolutely insane. I brought 2 champs up to rank 4 that were in the prestige top 30. My prestige is absolutely insane now. And then we're not even talking about what future rewards are coming out, because those are so far down the road. The barriers to getting those rewards are pretty substantial when it comes to your roster. But for me, as a person that spends on a regular basis on this game, where I can spend $100 on the monthly deals and get a fraction of the value that I got yesterday from those $50 deals. Now, I'm curious from your standpoint. Now you're a free to play guy, and you're seeing this deal, and then you're going online, you're going on YouTube, and you're going all these places where the entire community is blowing up about this fantastic deal, this $50 deal that was just given to the community, and you're sitting there and you're like, wait a minute, I'm free to play. I don't get any of this. I'm seeing friends who drop freaking $50. Their roster is now so much more better than mine is. How are you able to rationalize not spending on the game when Kabam sends out those types of deals?
Well, for me, it's not really about that because I'm on the younger side. I'm an adult
Yeah.
now, but when I started playing this game, I was very much I didn't learn how to steal my mum's credit card, as
Yeah,
Stephen
right.
would say.
Right.
She was very strict that I don't steal her credit card. She's a fan of her credit card and she likes it. She wants
Yeah.
to keep it. So that was the rule, and that's my rule. So that's the rule. It's not really rationalized. It's just what it is. But instead of talking about this bundle, I'll give you a straight up story.
Yep.
I found one of, I believe, 1,000 people went to my senior school, and I found one other guy that played MCOC. I
Yep.
found one, and his account was slightly less developed than mine, and that made me feel very proud.
Yep.
And then he started spending, I think he dropped like 20 quid, 30 quid, here and there.
Yeah.
He was very much a small fish in a big pond. And his account, it was like July 4th, 2023. So it was ages ago, or 2022 even. It was years and years ago. And his account just right past mine. Nothing I could do. Battlegrounds, I went from beating him to very much losing.
Right.
It took me 6 to 8 months before he lost some interest and my grind overtook his account.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been the way since. I thought I'd just drop the detail in that I do still beat him in Battlegrounds. But it's certainly difficult. It's certainly difficult. And the way, without my mother's rule and without that story, the way I would rationalize it is, you've just said you took a bunch of champions to rank 2, rank 3. You could, but you didn't.
Yep.
You could bunch of champions to rank 3, a bunch of champions to rank 4. I look at that and say, that's annoying. That's really annoying. For example, I want to rank up for whatever Battlegrounds meta it is this season.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have that rank 4. I've now got to go up a rank, most likely, and that's frustrating.
Yep.
But none of those rewards are technically paywalled. That's going to sound insane, but all of those rewards are available to me.
Yes.
Just not now.
Right.
Just not now. And in a few months, they'll have inflated in value, or not deflated. Value inflation will have occurred. I will be able to get those rewards for free doing content or just in an event for a gift.
Yeah.
And that's the way I rationalize it. That's the way I say, okay, this is appropriate and this is what's okay. And obviously there's scales to that.
Yeah.
I believe the difference between the pay to win experience and the free to play experience should be volume in rewards. So you get a lot of this and you get it now, or you get little of this and you get the same volume when it's valued lower.
Right.
Right. So I will get that when it means less.
Right.
I'll get that when it means less. But the way I see it is that I can get it. I can get it. And this game needs to make money, so you can't go around raging against any sort of offer, even if the offer is talking about rank 6, 7 stars. Still, you can rationalize it and say, okay, this is available to me, but just not now.
Right.
And even then, and as a result of that, say I come up against you in Battlegrounds, it's I know from experience it's terrifying, but it's possible. It's possible.
Absolutely, man. I get beat all the time in Battlegrounds by much smaller decks, so there is definitely a skill component, and I do feel so. I did take the shortcut. By spending, you take a shortcut, and you definitely get more champions that so the volume of champions comes a lot faster. The ability to learn those champions that you get, the time before you move on to the next champion is truncated. So I don't learn how to use those champions that I have acquired over the past month, and so I am just generally worse at using those champions as somebody who has one champion and focuses all their energy and skill on that individual champion. So and this has been going on for years now, where I'm in battlegrounds, and yeah, I have the greatest and best defenders or attackers, whatever. But my ability to use those champions and to learn the appropriate counters, is definitely a lot worse than the people that I face in battlegrounds with much smaller decks. So it does hurt me quite a bit. But anyway.
But when you see someone like, obviously, you're you,
Yep.
but when you see someone like Barrowman do the same thing,
Oh
the
my God.
results are terrifying. The results are terrifying.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're absolutely right. As a free-to-play player, I have to very carefully choose my rank ups.
Yeah.
So I get a character, and I kind of spend like 2 days, and not much is going on, and I'll just muck around with that character.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a story. It's quite a funny story about you. So I pulled Werewolf by Night as a 6-star, and I saw this character like, whoa! I love this character because I like dogs. I saw this character. It's really fun. I got him as a 6-star from a featured crystal, which is brilliant. And then January of last year rolled around.
Yep.
And I don't know who remembers the puppy meta, which was like Power Shield, Polka Dot Power.
Oh yeah.
And he went nuts. Yep. And I had him as a 6-star rank 2. 6-star rank 2 level. I remember this. It was level 12. Level 12, and I was just playing random battlegrounds. And you know who rolled round the corner in my matchmaking? USAFA. And I soiled myself. I think the politically correct phrase.
Yep.
I soiled myself, and you placed 7-star rank 2 Photon.
Okay.
But because I had to pick my rank ups very carefully, and because as a free-to-play player, you learn to just say, okay, I've got this character.
Yep.
I have very few resources. Let's make sure this works. Puppy versus Photon was something I'd done before.
Yep.
So I got away with it.
Yep. Absolutely.
And look, I got away with it. And would I have got away with that another 99 times out of 100? No.
Yep.
Because you're going to be freaked out by how well I remember this, but I do. Because would I have lost that round? You had Maestro for round 3, and I had nothing.
Yeah.
It was kind of make or break right there and then. So 99 times out of 100, you've put in that investment. You have built that roster faster. And yes, I will get myself a 7-star rank 2 Photon. I have a rank 3 now.
Yep.
But it's all in the future. That's how the game works. I'm going to lose that.
Yep.
I'm going to lose that. But as we've established, it's possible.
Absolutely.
It's possible.
Yep.
The difference when, we see characters like 7-star Human Torch, 7-star Dark Phoenix, and they're at this price bracket where Kabam is unwilling to give us a roadmap.
Yep.
Can you get that? No.
Nope.
Is it possible to get around it? Yes, but in a different sort of way. Yeah, in a different sort of way. Like, will I ever have access to a 7-star Human Torch? Theoretically, because of the facade that Kabam need to construct in order to keep these champions' value at $1,000.
Yeah.
No. So it's a different sort of thing, and that's where I would draw the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So, a lot of people in stream and on chat and YouTube and whatever, in the forums, in the Discord server, they always state it's always very black and white. It's always whales against free to play. But you and I both know that is not the environment that we play in. It is a spectrum across, right? You've got free to play like yourself, and then you got people who are casual spenders, dolphins, whales, krakens, or whatever. It's a spectrum. As a free to play player, talking to a person who spends and invests in this game quite a bit, do you have any animosity towards the people who spend and gain the advantages that we have?
Speaking truthfully, no.
Yes. Okay.
Speaking truthfully, no. But I also know that it's funny you mentioned that because I've written videos talking about Dark Phoenix. I've ranted about Dark Phoenix enough.
Yep.
Where I would lean into that, and I'm going to come clean and admit it. Like I've leaned into that, and I've said, okay, let's make a joke where we kind of poke fun at whatever animosity there is.
Yeah.
And it was Dark Phoenix. It was top 10 defenders in MCOC, right? And she came in at number 2 for me.
Yep.
She would probably come in at number 1 now, but she came in at number 2 for me. And I said, this is a BMW M2. So I found it in about 20 minutes of Googling for less than it takes to buy the 7-star version of Dark Phoenix. Right, blah, 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 carry on. And the joke was, buy a car or buy the new champion. I'd buy myself a shred of dignity.
Right.
I've said that.
Yep.
And it's funny.
Yep.
But I recognise that, like, even you laughed at that. That's if you laugh at that, I take it as a win. But I recognise that jokes like that definitely feed into it.
Yeah.
When, if we're being serious, the reality is, of course, this is a game. We're all here to enjoy it. This game's taken very seriously, but we don't like seeing the animosity, sort of like aggression between different tiers in the game, different classes in the game.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, we're all here to enjoy it, and we've all got different experiences.
Yeah.
If you put a gun to my head and say, where's the tension right now? It would be between players like me, and I'd say I'm relatively rare, who are just steadfast, I will never spend on this. And the fishes, like the friends like my friend.
Yeah.
Who was willing to drop 20 quid. And when you see things like 7-star Captain Britain when she came out, when you see things like The Maker coming out 2 months after, and they advertise this stupid mechanic that serves no purpose other than to counter Captain Britain.
Yeah.
And you can buy that for, I mean, you can spend a little bit, get the pre-release bundles, get The Maker. And when you see like the idols and you get Lumatrix, and Lumatrix is kind of cool and he's flashy, but actually he works. He's criminally underrated as a defender. Solvark made, this is a sentence I never thought I'd say, but Solvark and Rhino made bigger waves in the Battle Realm Brawl than CGR.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to spend all that much to get Solvark.
Yep.
But you get yourself a worthy defender. And that's where, if you put a gun to my head and say, where's the tension? It's when, that advantage that you can't lock down, you cannot in the future lock down, is just locked behind a little bit. And it's this model with Kabam, and we've seen this. It's a very sensible business model. It's not Kabam's business model. It's a lot of business models where everybody is trying to get, pushed up the ladder.
Yeah.
So the free-to-play players become fish, the fish become dolphins, the dolphins become whales, the whales become USAFA.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
The point.
Yeah. No,
Oh yeah, come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I've seen. So, I mean, Matty, I've been doing these voices of the community for the past month and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 2 months or however long it's been. And before I had started these conversations with, across all walks of life in the community, I would have said that I would have said that the vast majority of the community, from the free to play to the casual spenders, the fish, really did not like that that the whales had a huge advantage, and honestly, we do. I could feel that before I started doing this, I could feel that the animosity was real, and that if I were to start a new series, that a lot of the trolls would come out of the woodwork and just troll my streams and my content. What I have seen occur over the past 2 months, and I don't know if it's just me, whether or not it's just talking to more people in the community, or I don't know if there's actually been a change, but I feel like the community is starting to get behind the spenders because of I want to say it's because education, and they've redirected their angst and anger and frustration towards the company itself. It's not I don't know if it's necessarily the whales that buy the deals, or if it's the company that targets and targets the deals towards the spenders. So, but again, I feel better over the past 2 months. I think the sentiment has changed, or maybe it's just my interpretation of how sentiment it currently is and always has been.
No, you're absolutely right. I've been kind of winding back my YouTube operation because I am currently working on my degree, and that's
Yeah.
unfortunately more important.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if I were making more regular content, I probably would have made a video by now saying, hey, actually, you know what? We're kind of getting it. Like, a lot of the complaints that at one point were rather niche, I say, hey, maybe they shouldn't be pumping out too many of these deals. Hey, maybe these defenders are ridiculous. Hey, maybe we shouldn't be paywalling this. Hey, maybe you should be treating us with a little bit more respect. And the discussion on that has kind of narrowed down to, you know what? Kabam isn't doing a good enough job.
Yep.
And we need to hold them accountable to that. And a great example of, I think, animosity being directed towards the whales was July 4th. And it was July 4th, and it was Legacy who said these sales are fundamentally not very good.
Yeah.
And then he bought them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he
I
had to
remember
make
that.
he had to make a video. Someone said, "You're a hypocrite. You're encouraging Kabam."
I hated that.
And these people don't know what hypocrite means.
Yeah, right.
But they did it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, I stayed out of it. I don't have anything constructive to offer to that.
Yeah.
But now, if Legacy made a video about that, and hopefully people have either A, picked up a dictionary or learned their lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know I'm friends with Lags. We've been in the same alliance for 6 years now. And I remember exactly when that was going around and how people were calling him a hypocrite, and it was just silliness, man. And I felt like it was just trolls coming out of the woodwork trying to give him crap. I mean, there's not a guy that deserves that kind of backlash. I mean, this is his job. This is how he makes money. This is how he makes a living. And he is completely able and justified in doing that kind of spend. So anyway.
And the brawl is important.
And the brawl is important. Yeah.
So like, what's and it works.
Yeah.
So there's that. So yeah, no, that's an example of where people see a big deal and they're like, okay, the whales encourage this and they get a big advantage, and that's true. If you buy something, and if Kabam sees people buy something, they're going to do it again.
Yeah,
they're going to do it again and again and again. But
so
I mean, obviously the issue with Lags was different, but I feel now that the aggression is being directed to the right place.
Yeah,
which is like, okay, you need to make sure that the player experience is good for everybody. And then, like I said, you can give the whales an advantage. That's going to be a reality.
Yep.
But make sure the game works. Yep. And when people make videos like Legacy, then that's good. That's good, like he did. And he said, look, these fundamentally aren't very good. You are paywalling the insane rewards, insane milestones. And I hope that they work to move those down. So, free to play are going to be free to play. But fishes, dolphins, you get it too. And the entire game is a little bit fairer.
Hey guys, sorry for the quick break. Matty, thank you so much for joining me on this video, this Voice of the Community. I really, really do appreciate it. I have many more Voices of the Community coming out in the future. Please look for them soon. And please hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't subscribed and gone over to Matty's channel to subscribe and check out his videos, he does some really great content. Really love watching that stuff. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be talking to you guys later. Thanks.